Oh, hi. Um, how are you? It's me, Jarrett Earl Casey. I it's Monday. Is it Monday? Yeah. No, it's Tuesday. I hate that. It's Tuesday, December 8th, 2020, 8:41 p.m. I'm in my apartment in Midvale. Um, and Midvale, Utah. I have just had a really terrible day. So I got up. I did not want to go to the gym, but I went to the gym and it wasn't a bad training session. But I forgot my belt again, my zone belt, and I I I'm just eating my toenails. Ew, sorry. uh, I just wasn't feeling that motivated at the gym. There was this girl that was in the appointment after me who I felt very connected with, but not in a super loving way. Although I immediately was like, I love you. I mean, I think it takes a while to warm up, to re-warm up back up to people. Anyways, we basically looked right at each other and said something mean to each other in our heads, and we said the exact same thing. And I was like, "Oh, you too, huh?" But then I was like, "Oh, she's sweet, and I like her, and I love her, and I probably know her from a past life or something." And then I was like, "She's kind of mean," but it made me scared a little bit, I guess, because I'm not all alone, but I feel like that. I feel that way, and I'm not supposed to say the word alone anymore. So I've been telling myself that. So I'm like, I feel lonely, and I'm like, she probably has family. I have family too. I don't mean that, but I mean maybe they're talking to her or whatever. Anyways, um, so there was that, and then I came here and I had work. I went to work today, and I made several mistakes. I embarrassed myself. I was not the most professional. I think I upset our regional sales director, and I'm about to maybe get a job offer, so that'll probably affect it, of course. So, and that's something that's stressing me out. Not stressing me out, but sorry, I don't want to be negative, but I'm just trying to say how my day went. So that's that's that. And yeah, so that wasn't the best. And I spoke to my friend Katie, and that was awesome. I love her so much. Um, and then the missionaries, Elder Wolf, left his gloves on the couch last time. So he texted me earlier, "Hey, when can we come by and get Elder Wolf's gloves?" And so I was like, "Oh, soon." Or well, I said I'll be off at 5, and then you can come pick them up between 5 and 7. So they said, "How about 6:30?" I said, "Okay, that's fine." So they came at 6:30, and I gave him his gloves, and they said, "Are we still on for tomorrow night at 6:30?" And they asked if I was going to have anyone over this time because I've had people here or witnessing each time they come over, and I said, "Oh, I hadn't arranged for anyone to come over," but they go, "Well, do you mind if we bring anyone over?" I thought, "Oh yeah, who would you bring?" And he said the Malkoviches. Um, yeah, I guess I could. Anyways, and they live nearby, so it's a couple, a young man and woman, and or not yeah, sorry, in LDS culture that means people under 18. So not young men or women or not young adults, but just younger, 20s or late. I don't know. I can't tell, but they've been married 3 years. Is what I'd say. So this man and woman who've been married for 3 years who live in the ward. So they're gonna come over too, I guess. And I thought, okay, yeah, that'll be cool. When he left, his eyes kind of flashed a little bit. I thought, ooh, ooh. He looks like that guy at the University of Utah Hospital. That scared me. But I thought, oh, it's just maybe. I don't know. I try to rationalize things. There's this thing in my head that goes, "He's a wolf in sheep's clothing, Jarrett." I'm like, oh, wolf, and he's dressed as a missionary, right? But they are missionaries. They're like, but I'm like, they're good people. That's fine. I mean, I'm still weirded out by all of this, by being in this different place and feeling cast out or whatever. Um, and so I have a hard time rebuilding and reestablishing just trust with the world I'm in because it's just so different than what I had grown to understand as a more honest and present and real world. Even though it wasn't real, right? I know this is all an illusion, and so has been my whole life, right? But I feel like this is a departure from even further away from reality than closer to it. And I thought we were here to bring the world more toward truth. And instead, it seems like, at least temporarily, and I don't know, you hear the sayings, it gets worse before it gets better, or it's always darkest before the dawn. So I'm like hoping that's true, even though I'm like, well, that's also hogwash. It just gets better. It can just get better. It doesn't have to get worse before it gets better or darker before the dawn. It's like it can just keep getting better. It can just always get better. Like, why can't people accept that? But um, it can be difficult, right? But this is like darker. This is less honest. This is less real. This is more evasive and more absent and more dishonest than any world I've lived in up to this point in my life. Um, Very manipulative. And I mean, we can all be manipulative, right? So it's like, well, you've been manipulative, so it's okay. We'll just be it's like, oh, okay, that's also not how that works, but whatever. Um, but I just want it to keep getting better for everyone, myself included. Like, that's cool. Do you like my shirt? I work out so I can eat garbage. Um, my friend Keston, he passed away this summer, and he loved raccoons. So I think of him when I wear this. Um, anyways, but I am still. I've told myself I'm like I'm going to keep taking these discussions. There are parts of me that are saying just stop, just wait until the world gets normal again, or feels like hopeful again. Even though I do feel hopeful quite often, um, and then do it. But I'm going to keep taking them, and I'll keep praying. Anyway, so that happened, and then there's just this energy today of this other beings, transparent, translucent, whatever, ghosts. I don't know, people on the other side. I don't understand. That are, I don't know. I guess I was feeling just with my not with myself, but not because of any person that I view here that I know or anything, but I was feeling kind of like some sexual tension build up. Not like I want to have sex or anything, just that just happens every once in a while, like once a month or something. um, so yeah, so that was awkward. I feel all kinds of guilt and stuff for that, and then there's that it changes. I don't know if it's me that changes the energy or there's something else that changes the energy, and then I feel that, and then I feel all kinds of weird things surrounding it, and it's just difficult. I I'm like, why does it have to? It doesn't have to be like that, but why is it like that? Why can't I just be like, oh, cool, I'm feeling that way. I'm gonna take a couple minutes. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I won't do it. I'm not gonna do it. Then it's like, well, I think it wasn't even 60 seconds. And that's great. It was like, okay, I'm done. I took a shower and then I kind of laid in bed for a while because I felt depressed. But I shouldn't choose depression because then I'm not choosing God, right? Because if I'm depressed, I'm not choosing God. I am choosing God. I've chosen God. I love God, right? I'm one with God. We all are. So I don't know why I feel depressed or scared or all of these crazy things that the world tells me to feel or doesn't. Part of the world tells me, oh, I'm like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh my gosh, this planet. Why did I choose to come here? Not that I'm an alien or anything, but we all chose to come here. If you live here, you were born, into a body out of your mother being pregnant with you, then you chose to come here, right? So I'm like, why did I choose to come here? Why did I choose to come here? This planet is so crazy. All the people here are crazy. And now I'm going crazy because I'm connected to all of them. Because we're all connected. Like, and I think the planet's going crazy. And I don't know what to do. I'm like, I need help. The planet needs help. Everyone needs help. This is a crazy place. But maybe it's not. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. It seems normal. Everyone's kind of acting normal, but not really. I'm like, but how do you put that to words without sounding crazy? And I'm not crazy. It's just this 2020, man. Whew. And I guess I look back at the last few years and I've seen the signs. I'm like, oh, okay, I should have seen this coming. And I did, and I didn't. But this year, I'm like, whoa, this year is messed up. I mean, I've been making a lot of progress. I was talking to Katie about that. She's like, well, you've been making a lot of improvements. I'm like, yeah, absolutely, I have been, absolutely. But it's just met with like more crazy world. They're insane, all of them. You're all insane. If you're watching this, you're insane. And that's me probably projecting. So I know I'm not insane, and you're not insane. We're all part of sanity, which is God's mind. We're all coming back to our right mind, and we're all trying to shift into love and miracle mindedness, and we can do that together, and we can transform our lives and our world and our very existence into something more real than we've ever thought possible, right? And that's why I'm here. That's why we're all here. I know I'm not doing a very good job, but I'm still here and I'm still trying because I know that's what we're here to do. It's just this world keeps being like, oh, okay. Like, okay, just keep going. So that's what I'm gonna do. So today was a crappy day. What do you do? It was a crappy day. It was a crappy day. But it wasn't the worst day. I'm safe. I'm provided for. I have a job that is paying me right now. uh, and yeah, I have a family that loves me, right? I know Heavenly Father loves me. I have a great and bright hope, wonderful, beautiful, amazing, perfect hope, and and knowing of the future for all of us. That includes me. Can you believe it? um, and that carries me through. When I can remember that, I just get so frustrated. These stupid things at work, all these duplicate things that come in. I'm like, people don't answer or come back, and then I'm making mistakes because I'm upset. So I need to handle that better. I'm like, why is this even? This has all already been done. Everything. This has all been done. We can just step into the future. Just really bring all of this to the light. We can all live joyous, bountiful lives where we can be free and wonder, and not wander though, right? But we can wonder as we wander, like as we amble through the beautiful creation that we're from, and teach and learn and guide and you know discover and rest and express and create all these things. I'm like, can we just skip to that, please? I mean, whatever. I'm grateful to have the job. Don't get me wrong. I am. And I've got this insurance fiasco coming up where I've got I'm on Medicaid right now through the expansion because they kept extending it for even if you're over income during COVID. So if you qualified uh, and you got on Medicaid, even if your income went up above the requirements, they're just letting you stay on Medicaid until COVID's over. So, which has been great because I've been getting my medication paid for. I'm on Medicaid even though I'm over income. But January 1st, I'll qualify for coverage through Prince Pearlson, which is the temp agency that I'm working for. But their insurance is awful, awful, awful. And I have a chronic health condition where it's fairly expensive, and I'm like, I don't know if I can afford my deductible in January because the lowest deductible available is $1,500, and I'm used to like 250, 500 maybe. So $1,500 as the best plan is like, wow, that's really terrible. And then that's the PPO, and then the next one's down is $3,000 deductible, and then the high deductible health plan is a $5,000 deductible. So I'm like, okay, well, so if this place offers me a job and it has fairly good insurance, I'll probably need to take it. Either that or I need to hurry and find another job. Which I'll think about. I'm like, oh, I don't even know. I guess on Sunday I can do some. But I'm hoping for a good offer, and I'm hoping that if I just stick with it, then maybe it can get better, which is what my friend Katie told me to do today. So I'm like, oh. And I was telling her, I'm like, I feel like I've lived this life before. I've worked with these people before. I have memories of working with these people in the future, but they didn't treat me very well. They used me. So I'm like, why would I even go work with them? But then I'm thinking, no, maybe that's why we're here to redo this, and it can get better, and then maybe it won't be. Maybe bad things won't happen. It's okay. So I'm like, yeah, maybe I should just keep going forward and just take the job, but I can all the things, all the emails coming in, all the way their things are structured. I'm like, man, this company needs help. And it's hard because you try to help them and they get mad at you for trying to help and they just make it worse. It's like, oh, okay. But and I make mistakes. I'm not perfect, but I'm still trying to tell you something. So you should listen. Oh. But yeah, so I'm hoping they get better, and I hope our relationship gets better, and that I get a good offer and they offer good insurance, and that they have a more clear way of communicating and better training, and their software improves, and their communications on company emails and chats improve. And I hope that um, they offer clear paths and communicated personalized development plans for moving up. And I hope that they don't practice judgment if I can't, because of my health condition, choose a high deductible health plan. And although I would love to, what I would love to do is just go, okay, well, I'll just pay out of pocket. Um, and do the 3,600 contribution and just keep doing that and just pay out of pocket for my health expenses. Still use the so I'd basically be paying 5,000 or whatever the deductible is. So if they have a low deductible, I think it could work. But I don't know. I just don't know what's right. I was telling Katie, she's like, Jarrett, maybe I think sometimes we repeat these lives and the universe is sending us a lesson that we need to learn. And I go, yeah, I agree. I said, but when the universe sends us a lesson, it sends it to all of us at the same time, all of us as one. I'm like, so I understand that there's a lesson to learn here. I'm trying to help with that. And I know that I also will learn from that. But I said, it's kind of like a math equation. You have everything on both sides of that equal sign, or of both sides of that equation. So you've got all the numbers and variables and interactions and symbols that come over on this side, and it can be very complex, and you've got the order of operations and all of these things, and you've got theory and everything that goes into that, and then you have the answer over here, which is just a single figure, but they're both the same thing. They equal one another. They're the same thing. They're both the answer. They're both the answer to the problem. It's just one of them is complex and confusing and requires that you learn all of this stuff and test and proof and whatever, and the other is just the answer. And I'm like, why does this world keep trying to make the lesson learning all of this when this has already all been done? And they refuse to accept the answer. It's like, just accept the answer. ABCs, right? It's so simple. And so it just keeps coming back. And I'm like, I just don't understand. But hey, what's there to understand? Nothing's happening. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Or that's where I seem to be coming from. So that's today. That is December 8th. Tuesday. All right. Oh, it's Amanda's birthday tomorrow. I'm going to have to remember to send her a video message. Yeah. Or a voice message. So today we have chapter 11, God or the Ego, which is, now we have section 4, the inheritance of God's Son. Never forget that the sonship is your salvation, for the sonship is yourself. As God's creation, it is yours, and belonging to you, it is His. Yourself does not need salvation. And I'm sorry, but your mind needs to learn what salvation is. You are not saved from anything, but you are saved for glory. Glory is your inheritance, given you by your Creator that you might extend it. Yet, if you hate part of yourself, all your understanding is lost because you are looking on what God created as yourself without love. And since what He created is part of Him, you are denying Him His place in His own altar. Could you try to make God homeless and know that you are at home? Can the Son deny the Father without believing that the Father has denied Him? God's laws hold only for your protection, and they never hold in vain. What you experience when you deny your Father is still for your protection. For the power of your will cannot be lessened without the intervention of God against it. And any limitation on your power is not the will of God. Oh. Therefore, look only to the power that God gave to save you, remembering that it is yours because it is His, and join with your brothers in His peace. Your peace lies in its limitlessness. Limit the peace you share, and yourself must be unknown to you. Every altar to God is part of you because the light He created is one with Him. Would you cut off a brother from the light that is yours? You would not do so if you realized that you can darken only your own mind. As you bring him back, so will you return. That is the law of God for the protection of the wholeness of His Son. Only you can deprive yourself of anything. Do not oppose this realization, for it is truly the beginning of the dawn of light. Remember also that the denial of this simple fact takes many forms, and these you must learn to recognize and to oppose steadfastly, without exception. This is a crucial step in the reawakening. The beginning phases of this reversal are often quite painful, for as blame is withdrawn from without, there is a strong tendency to harbor it within. It is difficult at first to realize that this is exactly the same thing. For there is no distinction between within and without. If your brothers are part of you and you blame them for your deprivation, you are blaming yourself. And you cannot blame yourself without blaming them. I always say, don't play the blame game, right? It doesn't help anyone. I still sometimes tend to that. I'm trying not to blame. People are like, so do you blame this? I'm like, I don't blame anyone. I'm not trying to blame anyone. I don't blame myself. I don't blame these people. Every once in a while, I'm like, start to blame someone. I go, wait a minute, that's not what I'm doing. Not what I believe in. I'm just trying to communicate what it takes. I don't want to blame anyone. Now they're still like, oh, this happened. And it's like, that sucks. I'm like, you suck. Right? But I don't blame you. I'm not trying to blame you for any of this, anyone. I'm just imagining, I'm not imagining. I'm putting myself in a place where I'm confronting people who have harmed me or tried to harm me, saying, you suck to them. You suck, You're cool. You suck. Right? Like Britney Spears at the beginning of that one video. but um but I don't blame you. I'm not saying I don't blame you, right? Like I honestly don't know what you were thinking, but I don't blame you. Okay? It's okay. It's just we need to move on. So, can we move on? And I don't. Anyways, so see, I get worked up about it. So then I'm like, I shouldn't talk about it. I'll just be right here. I'll just. um. So that is why blame must be undone, not seen elsewhere. Lay it to yourself, and you cannot know yourself, for only the ego blames at all. Self blame is therefore ego identification, and as much an ego defense as blaming others. You cannot enter God's presence if you attack his son. When his son lifts his voice in praise of his creator, he will hear the voice for his father. Yet the creator cannot be praised without his son, for their glory is shared and they are glorified together. Christ is at God's altar, awaiting to welcome his son. But come wholly, without condemnation, for otherwise you will believe that the door is barred and you cannot enter. The door is not barred, and it is impossible that you cannot enter the place where God would have you be. But love yourself with the love of Christ, for so does your Father love you. You can refuse to enter, but you cannot bar the door that Christ holds open. Come unto me, who hold it open for you, while I live it. While I live, it cannot be shut, and I live forever. God is my life and yours, and nothing is denied by God to his Son. At God's altar, Christ waits for the restoration of himself in you. God knows his Son as wholly blameless as himself, and he is approached through the appreciation of his Son. Christ waits for your acceptance of him as yourself and of his wholeness as yours. For Christ is the Son of God, who lives in his Creator and shines with his glory. Christ is the extension of the love and the loveliness of God, as perfect as his Creator and at peace with him. Blessed is the Son of God, whose radiance is of his Father, and whose glory he wills to share as his Father shares it with him. There is no condemnation in the Son, for there is no condemnation in the Father. Sharing the perfect love of the Father, the Son must share what belongs to him. For otherwise, he will not know the Father or the Son. So blessed is the Son of God, whose radiance is of his Father, and whose glory he wills to share as his Father shares it with him. Oh, there is no condemnation in the Son, for there is no condemnation in the Father. Sharing the perfect love of the Father, the Son must share what belongs to him, for otherwise he will not know the Father or the Son. Peace be unto you who rest in God, and in whom the whole sonship rests. So I'm getting a few things here. First, I I'm having some ego identity, higher Holy Spirit self identity, true self identity, crises, existential crises moments as I read this. I'm like, all right, well, I know my name. I know I'm Jarrett Earl Casey. I know my birthday. I can tell you a lot of things about my life. I mean, if you were like, what were you thinking on this day when you were talking about this? I'll be like, I don't know. I don't really know what I was thinking that day. But we can talk about it. Why? What do you know what I was thinking? But you know, other than that, I mean, I'm me. I like I was saying, I wake up every day. I'm ever since I can remember, which is being a child. As Jared Earl Casey, I live my life. I live my day. I go to bed. I sleep. I wake up, and I've been me this whole time. So I know who I am, right? I'm loved. I am love. I'm the light of the world, and I, you know, I am struggling. I need help. I mean, that's not who I am, but I'm gay. I experience fear quite more often than I'd like to admit, and I I yeah, it's just different. This it's I know who I am. But I read this, I'm like, I'm like, who am I? So I know I'm one with Christ, right? Jesus Christ is my elder brother. I'm one with him, right? We're from the same place. We, you know, just like we all are, right? And then I read here, so Christ is at God's altar, waiting to welcome his son. So the altar is, some would say at the temple, others say it's within you, right? Christ is right here at the altar, um, waiting, waiting to welcome us. Yeah, right. We're like he's right here. Like we are. He's right here with us. He abides within us. We are one with him. He is one with us. He can speak through us. We, he's right here waiting for us. We didn't go anywhere, right? But maybe to each other, right? That's helpful. Um, and the door is the doorway to heaven. Like, you know, it's right here, right here. Not like that. Someone was like, no, it's not the screen. Um, although the screen, that's a translation of the veil or of the curtain. El tende. I love that. There's this translation app. It's not translation. You learn another language on it. It's called Duolingo, and I study Italian on it sometimes. And one of the sentences that it came up with was "Apriamo le tende e vediamo la luce," which means we open the curtain or the veil or the screen, and we see the light. Apriamo le tende e vediamo la luce. Yeah, and I love saying that. It's better than "è sempre la solita zuppa," which means it's just always the same old soup. It's the same thing. "È sempre la solita zuppa." But apriamo le tende e vediamo la luce. You know, much better. So I like saying that more. Y la donna mangia la mela. Gli uccelli bevono l'acqua. All these stupid sentences that I've learned in Italian. They're not stupid. They're not stupid. But um, il scarpe. Yeah, scarpe. Scarpe. I think scarpe is socks, maybe. I don't know. Um, so yeah, but love yourself with the love of Christ, for so does your Father love you. And you can refuse to enter, but you cannot bar the door that Christ holds open. Come unto me, who hold it open for you. While I live, it cannot be shut, and I live forever. God is my life and yours, and nothing is denied by God to his Son. At God's altar, Christ waits for the restoration of himself in you. God knows his Son as wholly blameless as himself, and he is approached through this appreciation of his Son. Christ waits for your acceptance of him as yourself and of his wholeness as yours. And so I keep thinking, is there something going on? I'm like, I mean, I know there is, but I don't know what. And I just wish that the people of the world would give up their judgments, just give them up, right? And just let go of needing to punish people, of anyone. And I don't care what the agreement is. I keep hearing about these agreements. Well, there's this agreement, or this agreement, or this promise. It's like, who cares? There's only one promise. Okay, it's the kingdom of heaven. Hey, any other promises? Well, you promised this to get the kingdom of heaven. Nope, that's not how that works. The promise is the kingdom of heaven. That's the promise. There's no promises required to get there. Like, it's yours. It's already yours. It's yours. Okay? The kingdom of heaven is yours. That's the promise. So just let that be. Like, get rid of all of this. All of it. All of it. All of it. Just get rid of it. I keep trying to tell them that. Get rid of it. They're like, we do this. We need this approval. We need that. I'm like, walk right through it. It doesn't exist. You made it up. You made it all up. All of these agreements and all of these promises. You made them up. Just walk right through them. Just go to one another and just do the right thing and just allow the plan to work. They're like, we have to do this. This person does this and this is going to happen. It's like, nope, you made it up. You made it up again. You keep making things up. It's like I make things up, right? And I just give them the Holy Spirit. I'm like, here's a cool idea. I don't know. It might be cool. See you later. Right? Right? Could be helpful. If not, oh well, it was funny or it wasn't funny or oops. Right? But it doesn't mean it's going to happen or anything like that. It's just, hey, I made something up. I'm giving it up to the Holy Spirit. If he thinks it's useful, then hey, it might come to truth. It might be one of those dreams that comes true, right? As we move our lives toward home. But all these things you guys have made up, it's like, what are you doing? They're crazy. You're all crazy. So that's how I feel about that. Of course. So I just keep going. I'm like, well, I'll just keep going. I don't know. I'm scared. And, but nobody's being honest with me. Or no one is being honest with me, or there isn't anyone being honest with me. Although people have hinted at suggesting things at more truth, I guess. That's hopeful. It gives me hope as it starts to get really dark. I kind of get a little kernel of light. I'm like, all right, I'll go another week. but but it's still slowly just getting so dark. And I just hope for, oh, it's 9:25. I always think Sterling 925. 4454. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and go to bed. 9:26. get a beautiful long night's sleep, restful, restorative, and I'll wake up looking just like this again. And that's okay too. I love you all so much. You have a wonderful night and take care. Bye.